Gainesville. I'll be heading down to IHH soon and very soon. So I wanted to equip you all with some things that you can do on your own to inform our patients what they can do just to help themselves be healthier and to do better through chemo or just through treatment in general. So here's some practical tips for you. Vitamin D. All this that I'm mentioning is going to be okay during chemo or radiation. So vitamin D, how I calculate the dose, which you can do, if they haven't been tested, make sure the oncologist ask if you can pen to vitamin D order, because too many people I've tested and they're low in vitamin D, and that can be a big contributor to cancer itself, to so many things, their immune system, etc. So how I calculate the dose, if they come out as a 20, the goal is to have it at 50, so the difference is 30, add 2 zeros, they need 3,000 a day. So if they were already taking 20 or 2,000 and their lab value, they've been doing 2,000 for a year, and their lab level is at 20, then you know you need to add 3,000 to that 20 or to that 2,000, which would equal 5,000 a day. They can be taking that while they're on chemo. We don't need the levels higher than that. So if they're at 70, you check them at 70, you first ask them, did you take it the morning of? Yes, I did. Throw that lab out because it's not valid. But if they say, no, I didn't take it the day before, then you know it's a valid dose at 70. We don't need them that high. Some integrative providers argue that it should go up to 80, but we just like to keep it around 50, between 40 and 60. So if it's at 70, you need to cut out 2,000 IUs a day to get it down to 50. So 2,000 a day times 7 days a week is about 15,000. So if they're taking 5,000 a day, tell them just take it Monday through Thursday. So you've cut out then 15,000. So that'll again help the oncologist to not have to work so hard, and that you can calculate that or write it out for the oncologist. And that's also fine during radiation therapy to keep taking vitamin D. Magnesium, great supplement, has over 300 functions in the body. Unless the chemotherapy is causing a high magnesium level, a lot of them, as you know, cause a low level, or the person is just low in general, which the World Health Organization has said that 80% of the people in the world are low in magnesium. So get them on a magnesium supplement. It helps them detox, helps them sleep, has so many great functions. Different types of magnesium. Some will make you poop. Magnesium citrate, milk of magnesia. So some people don't need help with that. So magnesium glycinate usually doesn't make people have loose bowel movements, but sometimes it does. So if it's causing a loose bowel movement, even with magnesium glycinate, there's plenty of other magnesiums, but they won't be able to find them at Rite Aid. Even magnesium glycinate, you can't find it at Rite Aid. You'll have to go to Sunrise Natural Foods, Whole Foods, Sprouts, etc. And you can get, if you want more brain sharpness and to help the brain, magnesium L-threonate is a good one. It's more pricey. If you have heart problems, arrhythmias, etc., magnesium taurate is probably a better one to use. There's magnesium malate, magnesium chelate. None of those will affect the bowels. So get at least 1 tablet, probably 2 or 3 tablets if needed, a day of those magnesiums. They come in different dosing, but it depends what it's bound to. So I just tell them, like, each tablet is pretty standard. There's not like one, it just is easier to explain it that way. So most people can take 2 to 3 tablets a day, no problems, but you're definitely safe with 1, and probably need 2. Electrolytes are absolutely fine to take during chemo. It's not a vitamin, it's not an antioxidant. So whether that be, especially if they have loose stools, get them on an electrolyte. They can use the app, a really awesome app is called the Yucca app, Y-U-K-A. It's got a picture of a carrot top. Free app, you can just scan, and any barcode. Most barcodes are in there, and it'll tell you, oh, it's got sucralose in it, which is a fake sugar which kills the microbiome. And so, nope, don't get that electrolyte. Scan this one, and sometimes it'll give you suggestions on that. So try to download that app for yourselves so you can get to use it and then show your patients that app. So an electrolyte would be a really good idea, along with, if their blood pressure is within normal range, having some Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt. It has a lot of good electrolytes and minerals in it, not electrolytes, but a lot of minerals in it that the body needs. And that helps the cells to hold on to water. So some theories will say even if there's edema, along with getting enough protein in your diet, you might need some more electrolytes and minerals to help the cells to hold the fluid on the body. So that's a great thing to add, especially if you have low blood pressure. Tell them to be liberal with the Himalayan or Celtic sea salt. Bowel movements. So of course, getting our people to have good bowel movements is key. I like using psyllium husk just have them do organic psyllium husk, and because it both helps diarrhea and it helps constipation. Psyllium husk is what's in Metamucil, but Metamucil has a food dyes and other stuff. So you can order on Amazon cheap, or at Sunrise Natural Foods, organic psyllium husk, and you can actually make Metamucil cookies. Really easy to make. You can use almond flour. You can make it gluten-free. As most of you know, I don't like gluten. Neither do many integrative providers because of the inflammatory effects and other reasons. But you can. If you just Google a recipe for psyllium husk cookies, one less stressful thing that they have to do in the day to make make psyllium husk liquid and then drink it. Taking a cookie, putting a little bit of sugar in it, or a little bit of monk sugar in it, along with almond flour and psyllium husk, works great. Stick them in the freezer, pull one out every day, and that helps bowel movements. If they have diarrhea, normally when you look at psyllium husk or Metamucil, it'll say take it with 8 ounces of water. So Vanessa Quinn, our nutritionist, suggests take the psyllium husk without much water, so that not as much water, so that the body's water absorbs it when it goes down. But some of the nurses don't like using psyllium husk because they say, oh, it'll give them a blockage. But according to Vanessa Quinn, that's the way she suggests people today to take it. But that cookie works really well too. White blood cells. So as we know, the neutrophils go low, the white blood cells go low. Essential oils work really well, surprisingly. Some good studies on eucalyptus essential oil 4 times a day under the nose, just a dab of it. So I tell them put it in the bathroom, put it under your, when you go to the bathroom, just put a drop under your nose, or even better, the like doTERRA or Young Living essential oils. They have a combo called Breathe, or something for breathing, and that combination seems to work even better. The studies are on the eucalyptus essential oil, but probably the combination works even better. So again, 4 times a day helps boost white counts. If particularly if are people on the chronic chemo, or people that just would like to do something even more proactive, astragalus is a really good herb. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so you can get it in powdered form at www.bulksupplements.com, BULK supplements.com. It's all organic and loose leaf. It doesn't have much flavor, so you can add it to soups. If there's some of these supplements, there's a distinction if they're on immunotherapy, the PD-L1, like Keytruda, Opdivo, because of the way that Keytruda, the PD-L1s affect the immune system. You want to be careful with like the beta-glucan, so the turkey tail, the mushrooms, because if we still don't know, like, okay, if we use that in higher doses, which is affecting the immune system, same with higher doses of astragalus, like 6,000 to 20,000 milligrams. Some of the studies have 20,000 milligrams. we just don't know how it's going to affect the immune system if we're also using the PD-L1. So, but for those not on the PD-L1, just on the normal, like Herceptin or something, you can use Dr. Chilkov down in San Diego, an MD, integrative oncology doctor. In her patients, she uses between 4,000 to 6,000 of astragalus in most patients, but if they're on the PD-L1, she'll use under 2,000. And she'll add it to some soup or some tea or some coffee, and in divided doses. It works really well. It supports the person during chemo, and is a great support. So that's another good trick for the white count. So eucalyptus essential oil and astragalus, and or astragalus, or both. Sleep. Getting quality sleep is imperative to healing. So for starters, often magnesium works great just to help people to sleep. Just adding in some magnesium at night, it really helps them relax and sleep. So start with that. Melatonin has great enhancement with chemotherapy. Dr. Shokov and others will use up to 60 milligrams a day, but you'd have to start low and build up. Even if they're sleeping well, the melatonin has positive effects with chemotherapy. So it also has, for estrogen positive cancers, has positive effect with estrogen metabolism. And we can also use some THC, CBD, CBN, always starting off on baby doses with this THC. So 2 milligrams to 2.5 milligrams. If they're not doing well, you can always bump up higher to 5. Couple days later, if they're not sleeping well, you can bump up to 7.5, then to 10. Most people do fine with 5 milligrams. The CBNs sometimes really is the key factor in that. And you can use them all together, melatonin, magnesium, and THC, CBN together. Oftentimes what happens is after a month or so, they don't need the THC anymore. But magnesium and melatonin, they should continue. So those are a couple things on sleep. Fasting mimicking diet. So fasting mimicking diet by Dr. Walter Longo. Great info, great tools for while you're on chemo, after chemo, so many different things. So lots of good info on his website, walterlongo.com, I think is the website. But I use it particularly, his studies were on the every 3-week regime. So 3 days before, the day of, the day after, it's 50% fats, 40% carbs, 10% protein during those days, and about 800 calories. There's a number of, like the Kresser Institute has some like mimicking diets instead of buying his products. His products for about 5 days cost, if they get it through, like I'm signed up with them not to get a profit. You can ask me for that link, I can give it to you, but basically it's about, at this date, 2024, it's about $170 for 5 days of his food. His food tastes I have some people saying that what they do is they do their own thing for 2 days, do his 1 or 2 days, and then finish up. But there's also, it's called Creative in My Kitchen, and they have a fasting mimicking diet, like some recipes that you can mimic. You have to plan it before, because if you say, oh, I'll do 800 calories today, people won't do it because you're hungry and you want to eat something. So you have to plan out your food, what you're going to do for 5 days, and have it like out there, so that's what you do. But the benefit of it is less side effects of chemo. Potentially the chemo gets in there better, because as you know, when you get a PET scan, the sugar lights up the cancer cells. So during this fasting mimicking diet, we're stressing cancer cells. They're not getting the energy because you're putting the person in ketosis, and dead stuff is getting eaten away, and the chemo has more of a chance of getting in there. That's the theory behind it, along with less side effects. So it's a win-win. And for maintenance, someone that still has cancer, that doesn't need to lose weight, probably should do it about 4 times a year, 4 to 5 times a year, as long as they're gaining the weight back and not losing weight. And for people that want to lose weight, they have a whole metabolic program, so it's a great tool also. Prolon is the company. They have a program. I think it's that same cost that I told you about. I think it's about $200 a month for the metabolic program to help you lose weight. So it's another good resource for people that want to jog their metabolism and help themselves get healthier and work with a dietitian. So that's another good resource. For those that need to gain weight, people that need to gain weight, a couple things that I've learned is there's a protein powder called Naked Mass. It's got pretty clean ingredients and has worked really well to help people gain weight, along with more nuts, more healthy fats, avocados. You can make avocado mousse with carob, just good quality contents, and monk sugar, and carob chips, and the avocado, and there's lots of good things that we can do to help people gain weight without eating a lot of junk food and just shoving in a lot of unhealthy cancer-feeding foods. MCT oil is a great one too. It's got like 110 calories per tablespoon. It's great in coffee if you've got some good full fat, half and half. Speaking of that, full fat, when they eat yogurt, half and half, milk products are not contraindicated for someone with breast cancer or prostate cancer, but the source of it is what's important. So not in large amounts, but having some grass-fed yogurt, full fat, a plain yogurt, and add your own monk sugar or stevia or fresh fruit is healthy. Also, when people say, hey, I only have to be a vegan, I have to be a vegan, I've had cancer, that isn't true, but it's again the source. So grass-fed beef, lamb, good sources of protein, and meats are fine, but lots of veggies, lots of organic veggies. Prebiotics, super important. We don't want them if their white counts are low eating sauerkraut, but we can do prebiotic powders, and you can just have them Google prebiotic powders, inulin. There's a number of different ones, and just doing a serving, having 3 or 4 that they use. Psyllium husk is a great prebiotic, but we need to build their microbiome up. Encouraging them to avoid antibiotics if they don't need it. They get a common cold, don't take an antibiotic if it's not indicated. You can also direct them in regards to diet. A couple good sources. Dr. William Li, L-I, on YouTube has a lot of good videos and things about cancer-fighting foods. So sometimes just keeping it simple like that, because he explains things well. They can watch a YouTube of Dr. William Li. Dr. Nasha Winters, who had stage 4 ovarian cancer at age 18, and now she's in her 50s and teaching doctors. She really teaches a super low carb diet. That's Christy Hallett and Alyssa Euchner. They're well versed in that. So people who are willing to go more extreme and more keto, lower carb, really low carb, that would be a good person to listen to. And then of course, Alyssa can guide them through that. Protein, make sure they understand how much protein to take in. So it's 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kg when they're on chemo, minus the fasting mimicking diet that we might do within them. Oh, back to the fasting mimicking diet. If they're on an every week regime, we obviously can't do 5 days. It'd be skin and bones. So we would just do the day of. Maybe the day before. If they're a bit heavy, we might be able to spread it to the day before. But then they've really got to do the 1.5 grams per protein on the other days to beef up the grams of protein on the other days. Costco's got Orgain and collagen powders. I often like mixing those two because they taste a little bit better I think those are my main hacks that I wanted to empower you guys with. You can still refer to me, just put in a referral. It's REF 0282 to the IHH Roseville. It may be if my schedule's full, Dr. Carr or one of the other doctors or nurse practitioners will probably take patients too, and I'm going to be training them up also with some things they can do. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, make sure their vitamin D levels are checked. And I think that's about it. Sarah wanted me to remind you that when you January 1st, I'll be down at IHH. You can make a referral, but send her a staff message and let her know, and to both of us, when you make a referral, so that we can just keep track of it, see how it's going. If you have any people that are upset that we were told we have to cash pay, message Sarah those names, because we're gonna work it out for them one way or another. Jacob said we'll work something out, whether I moonlight once a month up here on HEMONC and see those patients. We'll figure it out. So just tell them to hold on. Or if you get any new referrals that aren't covered, keep track of those names and let us know, and we'll work it out over this month. So I think that's all. Let us know if you have any other questions, but it's been a joy working with you all on this floor, and you're not rid of us yet. We're just on another location. Oh, and I know, last thing, Alyssa Euchner and I were talking, so all breast cancers in general, all breast cancers, any stage 4, whatever, send to Alyssa. If they really, they're like, oh, my friend sees Katie, I want to see Katie, no problem, send her to me, but I'm probably gonna also have them meet Alyssa, so wouldn't hurt to do both of us. So, and then they can decide from there. Okay? All right, take care. God bless you guys. Keep up the good work.